Hello, folks. I am Spartacus, the defender of the multiverse, and this is. Hold on 1 second. There we go. I had forgot to mute YouTube on myself, and this is the Multiverse Inquirer, where I talk about geekdom and everything around involving it. So I just heard a thump in the background. Sorry about that. Dog. So we have a variety of things to talk about tonight. If you are here joining me tonight, then hit the like and subscribe button if you're not. And I'll probably remind you at the end of the show, too. The first thing off, something very interesting that just happened just recently, a couple days ago, is. Give me a second here while I try and hunt it down because all of a sudden I lost it. Oh, where could the article have gone? Oh, where could it be? Ah, there it is. Alec Baldwin from Variety. Alec Baldwin is being indicted on the manslaughter charges in the Rush shooting from over a year ago. Alec Baldwin has been indicted on charges of involuntary manslaughter as the prosecutors once again seek to hold the actor accountable for the on-set death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Baldwin, 65 years old, was initially charged in the case on January 2023, but the charges were dropped 3 months later, after Baldwin's defense team raised questions about whether his Colt 45 was functioning properly when it fired. And from what I understand, from what I've heard by other people who are more knowledgeable in the gun world than I am, that's impossible. Because in order to fire the gun, you have to pull back the hammer on the revolver. Is it a revolver? I don't remember. You know what? And to do my due diligence. Yes, revolver. Thank you. Thank you, brave search. But yes, so in order to fire the gun, you have to pull back the uh you have to pull back the hammer and then you pull the trigger. So question is what on earth was he doing? Next question is what in the world was the armorer doing? Hutchins was preparing to film a scene with Baldwin at a ranch near Santa Fe, New Mexico on October 2021. When the gun went off, Baldwin was maintained that he did not pull the trigger. Well, it's kind of the only way that the gun can go off, unless you pulled back the hammer and then let it slam forward. But it still requires you to do it. If convicted, Baldwin faces up to 18 months in prison. He should be going there for a couple of years at least, not 18. Oops, need to get rid of that. We look forward to our day in court, said Baldwin's attorney Luke Nickus and Alex Spiro in a statement on Friday. Two special prosecutors, Carrie Morrissey, Morrissey and Jason Lewis, sent the gun for further forensic testing last summer. Their experts, Lucien Michael and Michael Haig, reconstructed the gun, which had been broken during the FBI testing. Seriously? You can't trust the alphabet government or alphabet groups. Concluded that it could only have been fired by pulling the trigger. Yes, that's the only way to do it. This fall indicates this fatal incident was the consequence of hammer being manually retracted to its full rearward and cocked position followed. at some point by the pull or rearward depression of the trigger. The report concluded. Although Alec Baldwin repeatedly denies pulling the trigger, given the finding observations reported here, the trigger had to be pulled or depressed sufficiently to release the fully cocked or retracted hammer of the evidence revolver. Excuse me. Morrissey and Lewis said in October that they intend to take the case to a grand jury within 2 months, stating that additional facts had come in light that pointed towards Baldwin's collap- culpability. Bleh. At the time, Nickus said that the decision was unfortunate. Why? Because your client is going to get the just desserts that he deserves, the justice that Hutchins' family deserves for losing a mother and a wife. It is unfortunate that the terrible tragedy has been turned into a misguided prosecution. No, it's not unfortunate that that happened. It's what needs to be done because, for the love of God, you have an actor who pointed a gun in the direction of someone, and he did shoot. Now, if it was done by accident, that's one thing, but still, he needs to be prosecuted. Geez. Because you never point a gun at someone that you do not intend to shoot, even if it's just for a movie or something like that. I mean, for the love of God, why didn't anyone double check, triple check the gun for a bullet? It's a lack of accountability, unsafe work environment, stuff like that. Stuff that needs to be, and because Baldwin is also, I believe he is one of the producers on the movie, kind of further goes against him. We will answer any charges in court. The film's armor, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, is set to be in trial on February 21st on charges of involuntary manslaughter and tampering with evidence. Well, okay. Gutierrez Reed mistakenly loaded a live bullet into Baldwin's gun, which was supposed to contain only dummies. It remains unclear how live rounds became mixed in with dummy rounds on the set. That's because of incompetence. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, was there because her father was a well-known armorer for Hollywood. She got there because of connections, not because that she was good, or not because of her skill or experience. She got there because because her father paved the way for her. That is that is that is very much uh, unsafe when you have people that are in positions that deal with very dangerous material like a gun or like I don't know, an airplane. Yes, I'm talking about you, American Airlines or United Airlines. Uh, then you need to have someone who has experience, who has training, and who knows what they're doing, and who knows how to who knows how to double and triple check their results before they hand over a live firearm to an actor who is apparently incompetent and lazy to even check it themselves. Um, the thing is that according to her own social media and stuff like that, she is not one to even care about the career that she went into. She wants to do more so things like OnlyFans. Oh, jeez. So it's unfortunate for her that she got into a position that she should not have been in. But because of the current climate that we are in with Hollywood and their DEI BS, she got into a position that she shouldn't have gotten. Let's see here. Where was I? Hutchins' widower Matthew Hutchins filed a wrongful death lawsuit shortly after the shooting, but reached a settlement in October of 2022. The settlement provided for insurance funds and portions of the film's profits to benefit the couple's son, who was 9 years old when his mother was killed. And the thing is that no money is ever going to fix the wound that boy is going to have for the rest of his life. No amount of money is going to help him. He's going to have to learn to heal, and he's going to learn to live without his mother. And I feel very much sad. eh, Feel very sad for that boy. I mean, if my mother died when I was 9 years old, it would be very devastating to me because for a long time in my life, my mother was a good friend of mine. It is was is a close friend. She's very special to me. Um, the film has since been completed in additional filming in Montana, and a awaited is awaiting distribution. I don't know if the movie should be distributed or not, but hey, I mean, they did similar stuff to in connection with The Crow, and my mind just went blank. Um, I am horrible remembering names. Brandon Lee. That's the thing I was trying to think of. Brandon Lee. So they had some. Oh, hi, Mrs. Tabletop. So they had a similar. Well, actually, it's not even a similar incident. What happened to Brandon Lee on the set of The Crow was that something got into the supposedly something got into the barrel as the blank round went off and killed Brandon Lee. I want to say Jason Lee, Brandon Lee. Now here is where someone was incompetent, handed over a live round in a gun to Alec Baldwin, and he shot someone because he was, for some strange reason, pulling back the hammer and pulling the trigger during a prep for a shot to be for a prepped for a scene to be shot. Why are you doing that? You're supposed to be kind of just directing and getting the feel of how the scene's supposed to play out. You're not they weren't actually even filming the scene. None of it makes any sense. And you have Baldwin who's trying to push all the blame off of himself and push it onto, I mean, at one point in time, he pushed the blame onto the victim herself, saying that's her fault that she got shot, which that was wrong. Makes me even hate him even more. Scumbag. Uh, let's see here. At the time of the settlement, Matthew Hutchins indicated he did not blame Baldwin for the shooting. I'm not interested in engaging in recrimination or attributions of blame to producers or Mr. Baldwin. Excuse me. Hutchins said, "All of us believe Helena's death was a terrible accident. I'm grateful that the producers and the entertainment community have come together to pay tribute to Helena's final work." A few months later, however, when Baldwin was first charged with manslaughter, Hutchins' attorney said that the charges were warranted. "We support the charges, will fully cooperate with the prosecution, and fervently hope that the justice system works to protect the public and hold accountable those who break the law," said the attorney, Brian Panish, in a statement at the time. The initial prosecutors, Mark Carmack, Altweis, Altweis, and Andrea Reeb, held Baldwin's responsible not only for pulling the trigger, but also for a series of management lapses that led to relaxed safety standards on the set. However, the New Mexican division of the Operations Safety and Health Administration concluded that Baldwin though he was a producer on the film, was not in a position of management authority and was not capable of the lack of oversight. The first assistant director, David Halls, pleaded not no consent last March to a misdemeanor gun charge. He is given 6 months of unsupervised probation. Well, I, I Baldwin is so yeah. That's it. Baldwin is being charged. He is going to face court. He's going to face a jury, or high jury apparently. Hold on a second. And he is going to be. I hope that he gets charged. I hope he is found guilty because a lot of things went wrong here, and it ended up with the death of a woman who should not have died because this dumbass decided to do something stupid. Yeah. An unfortunate loss of life. Um, Another unfortunate thing with the stupidity in Hollywood, and also on top of that, they're going to continue to blame guns for what happened. They're not going to take responsibility of their own actions. They're going to continue to blame guns because guns are the fault. Guns are the fault of everything, not the people holding the guns. Because guns are an inanimate object that has no moral bound, no moral understanding of their own because they're an object, like a eraser. Just it packs a little more of a punch. Next up is from the stupidity of Hollywood. GLAAD CEO Sarah Kate Ellis pushes narrative that transgenders are underrepresented in Hollywood. Claims political pundits are to blame for spreading misinformation about the trans community. Aha! I see. I see. Yeah, it's political pundits that are blaming the spread of misinformation, not the openly hostile Hollywood environment against the consumers who are supposed to be buying tickets to these movies and TV and buying subscriptions to streaming services to watch these oh so wonderful products that they wish to shove down our throats. In a recent interview with Variety, Ellis referred to what she perceives as, and this is, I'm assuming, yes, that's Ellis, her funny, a white woman. No offense to white women out there, but a liberal white woman, I should say. hmm Ellis referred to what she perceived as transgender being underrepresented in Hollywood, noting we have seen those watershed moments for lesbians, gays, bisexual representation, yada yada yada. Whether it was Ellen DeGeneres coming out or Will and Grace, what we don't have yet is a watershed moment for trans community. That's because out of the whole, that's because trying to think of how to say this. That is because the transgender community is built upon lies. They are built upon falsehoods. Uh, the people who actually believe that they're transgender, they have had traumatic. 90% of the time they've had traumatic experiences in their life that has made them disassociate with their biological gender, and then later and the others are just doing it for fads to come out to be different, to rebel against the status quo, which is funny because now this has become the status quo. Let's see here. What we don't have yet is a watershed moment for the trans community, she declared. I see this opportunity as a chance to speak to the academy and all the creators in the room to say that we need that moment. No, we don't, because the vast majority of your consumers do not give a damn about the trans community. They want to live their life. They want to escape the world, particularly politics, and they want to be left alone. The problem is that you morons are shoving it down our throats. We don't want that. Dreamer Nicole Amber Maines makes her debut on the season 4 episode of American Dreamers. Ellis encouraged, we need you to create and write about trans people, because there were over 500 anti-LGBTQ bills proposed this past year, and most are against trans people and are trans youths. Before she went on to baselessly claim political pundits are spreading misinformation about the trans community. Well, I'm pretty sure those bills were all about protecting the children from being mutilated, as well as protecting women's sports from being encroached on by men claiming that they are women so they can get a leg up in competitions because they couldn't knack it in their own male-dominated sports. But what's taking up the space in the media right now are political pundits who are talking about trans people with misinformation and in negative ways. The GLAAD president accused. We need Hollywood to be an antidote to that. Besides very few conservative contributors, what major media source is not speaking in favor of the trans community? I mean, for the love of God, you turn on any TV show, you go to Netflix, they're bringing it into Disney Plus, Hulu, anywhere, and you'll see something about trans people, about the trans community. I mean, for the love of God, they freaking had a transformer say that they're now trans and that they're they, them, whatever BS for a kids show. This is a blatant lie. It's not that they're not underrepresented and that there's a negative connotation to them. It's that they're overrepresented and that there's anger being built by not just straight people, cis straight people, but also by the gay community, by lesbians who are being pressured to go and date a trans person when that's not what they're attracted to. And along with that is that the representation that you want, that these people want, is overrepresentation. They want they're pushing it, and they're pushing trans into almost everything, when the trans community only makes up just a fraction, not even a fraction, less than a fraction of the American population. Majority of people are a man or a woman. They don't disassociate with their birth gender. Which, by the way, a gender is a grammatical term for sex, not what you identify as. During her acceptance speech in the television Governor's Award on Monday night, Ellis doubled down on her stance, admitting that the woke advocacy organization's goal is to influence audiences by including more LGBTQ characters in movies and televisions. Oh, I see. So you want to brainwash us into accepting something that is not true, that is a lie. It's propaganda, folks. Political propaganda. Oh, here. Real quick. I think we're having a little bit of incident here. 1 second.
What up, bitches?
I just looked over real quick and I saw you were there. So, hey, what's up?
Yeah, just dropped in. What are we talking about?
Let's see here. The president of the GLAAD organization, CEO and president of the GLAAD, is saying that political pundits are spreading misinformation and negative connotations about the trans community and that they're underrepresented in Hollywood.
What? What?
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Look, with the amount of people that are from that community inside Hollywood right now and getting their spotlight in a bunch of movies, how are they underrepresented? What?
Yes.
If anything, it's what?
I just said that. Yes. They're overrepresented.
Okay, well, what's the article about? Like, what is she exactly saying? Because I tend to disagree. Right now, they're the main attraction right now in a lot of movies.
That's what I was getting to. She mentions right here that there were 500 anti-LGBTQ bills proposed against trans people and trans youth, which I said, well, most of those bills were to protect children from wrongfully transitioning, being mutilated and stuff like that, and also to protect women's sports.
Right.
And apparently that's a wrong thing.
So if a parent says, no, you're not getting a transitioning, we can be arrested, because that's what those bills were also pertaining to, that we could not stop them regardless of what age they are at. Now, I'm sorry. If you have a problem with that, I'm sorry, but I'm a parent, and I'm going to say this right now for everyone to hear. If my son comes to me and says, Dad, I think I'm a woman, great. At 18, you can do all that. But as long as he's my responsibility, he follows my rules, and I don't give a fuck what some political bill says. They do not have the right to say that as a minor, you have more authority than your parents. That's bullshit, especially when we're the ones paying out the money for them. We're the ones giving them room and board. We're the ones taking care of them and making sure that they are educated and everything before they become of the age of 18, which, let's face it, at 18, you're more educated than what you were when you were younger as a minor, but you're still not as educated as you should be at 24. So therefore, between 18 and 24 is when that should be made, not as that too, because if I remember correctly, those bills were pertaining to minors under the age of 16.
Yeah.
That is horseshit.
And you have
who's paying for those surgeries? The parents?
Taxpayers.
So they're being given for free then.
Some states are doing. Some states are literally throwing out there that they will help fund your transportation, your room and board, and your medical expenses for.
Well, I like to point this out. I live in Michigan, and to my knowledge, Michigan isn't paying for anything. That's out of pocket, and that's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, if my kid wants to do that, that comes out of his pocket, not mine. I'm not paying thousands of dollars for that.
This is literally medical mutilation.
Yeah,
and it will permanently bound these people to the pharmaceutical companies, because you're going to need, for the rest of your life, you're going to be taking drugs and hormones, artificial hormones, in order to keep the destruction to your body. And I have seen plenty of pictures and videos on Twitter X, what happens when things don't go right. Like, for example, for women that have their arm stripped of flesh so that they can create a grotesque abomination of a dingling, and it then starts rotting. I'm not talking about the arm. The dingling that gets attached to down there gets started.
Well, that was kind of graphical. I don't think we had to go that horrific, but thank you for that image.
You're not eating, are you?
Yeah, actually, I'm making dinner. I just got home, you assholes.
I'm sorry.
I mean, okay. I think I get it. The point is though, there is okay, so there is health. Let's look at this from a different perspective. You obviously are against it, and obviously you can tell that I'm not for it, but I'm not really like against it either because I'm for whatever support my kid goes with, because I can't always dictate everything. But for right now, I get to. Because it's my dollar bills that are at stake here. Because like I said, my state, for us in my state, that's out of pocket, to my knowledge. So here's what I'm going to say to this. Let's take a look at this from this perspective. The pros and cons of transitioning needs to be thrown out there before people do it. You need to be aware of the risks and so forth. First off, people want to make comments that doctors are against transitioning. They're not. Doctors are against anything that could cost them billions of dollars and their practice. Every time a doctor transitions somebody, there is a risk of him losing his practice because here's the thing. If you're not educated going into this and something goes wrong, can a single person, and I swear to God, if we get a bunch of people in the chat right now, I don't think there's a bunch of people watching, but in case there is,
I believe it's just the misses.
I swear to God, I want you to prove to me that you wouldn't be one of those people. If something doesn't go your way in the middle of a transitioning, are you going to sue the doctor for malpractice? Yes, you are. Want to know why? Because it's millions of dollars. Of course you are.
Well, I mean, the thing is that a lot of these people that are pushing the conversion therapies are doctors. A lot of the people pushing this are activists. A lot of people pushing this are the psychiatrists who are supposed to be helping people suffering from gender dysphoria into becoming more comfortable with their biological gender, not encouraging them to go and destroy themselves. If people actually received proper treatment, which is mental treatment, not medical, though I mean there are probably some medical treatments that you could do that could help you become more mentally stable, then transgenderism would evaporate overnight, because the transgenderism is thrives on the mental instability of these people who have a greater suicide rate than survivors of the Holocaust.
All I'm basically saying is they need to get before anything is considered. You know what is funny? This is funny. A doctor will make you go to a class, go to counseling before they'll tie your tubes. They will. They will not, like, if you have one kid, but yet you damn near died on the table and you said, okay, I don't want to run the risks. Can you tie my tubes? But because you have that one kid, despite the fact that you almost died on their table from a childbirth and your child almost died, is okay. Yeah, well, that happened, but you only had one kid, so they won't do it. If you can actually petition that to force them to do it, but there's a set of requirements you have to take. You have to be educated on before they do it, because you only had one kid.
Along with if surgery was botched, it could be permanent.
There's that too, but the risk of that is a lot lower than like, say, if you go in for transgender surgery and they got your dosage wrong on your hormones or something was off and your body rejected it and damn near killed you.
A lot of the hormones,
the risk of that is a lot higher than tying your tubes and going, oh, I can't have babies anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also the hormones that they give to people that are transitioning, they end up becoming sterile, or it's women who start taking artificial steroids will end up getting cancer sometimes.
The point is, I just think these people should get their education up first. On this, because there is a danger. I'm sorry, there is. It's science. Now
back to this.
So
let's see here. Where was I? During her acceptance speech at the television government, I already read that. What the world sees on television directly influences how we treat each other and decisions we make in our living rooms, schools, or at work, or at the ballot box. That's the keyword right there. Ballot box. because
Yeah.
they want to support their political candidates. That's going to give them more, that's going to give her more money through grants, through bailouts, etc. and whatnot. And the one side that is giving her this money are Democrats, liberals, progressives, etc. and whatnot, socialists. Ellis asserted the world urgently needs a culture-changing story about transgender people. The funny thing is that a good couple of years ago, there was supposed to be a transgender story starring Scarlett Johansson, but because the trans community freaked out about it, they shelved it.
Give these people aren't they yelling at us right now because we're not giving them what they want? But then the moment we give them what they want, then they don't want it. Like, see, that's a common issue that I'm seeing among everybody, not just trans, but even regular people. It's like nobody wants this, but then yet they're bitching about not getting what they're wanting. What's up?
They want something to complain and bitch about. They don't actually.
That makes no goddamn sense.
It doesn't, but because it gets them attention. That's why it is. It gives them attention. They complain and they bitch, and it gives them attention. So we have. I'm assuming this is a transgender. I'm assuming, and this is a transgender too. This is a woman pretending to be a man who was in that One Piece TV show on Netflix. Okay. Hey, let's see here. And also, this is the actress who was in the Evil Dead movie.
Oh, that one.
Yes. Pretending to be the son. The GLAAD CEO further claimed, because more Americans say they have seen a ghost than know a trans person. Well, that's because trans people are less than a fraction of the population, to the point that it's non-existent. When you don't know people, it's easy to demonize them, or I don't know, take advantage of them, like you are. Visibility creates understanding. It also creates misunderstandings, like, for example, by making kids think that they're transgender because they're going through a transitional period in their life where they're going from a child to a teenager into a young adult, and their hormones are going all over the place, or teaching them from a young age, manipulating them, and open doors. It's life-saving. You know what's also life-saving is, I don't know, telling your son who's dressing up in princess, who's dressing up as a princess, that they're not a girl, and letting him grow out of it. Our community has achieved so much, and yet we are still villainized and with cruel and harmful lies. What's more harmful is you're letting a kid go on puberty blockers that is destroying their body.
It's not natural.
Yes. A 2022. Yes, it is. A 2022 study from the UCLA School of Law's Williams Institution, which, according to their website, conducts independent research on sexual orientation and gender identity law and public policies, concluded that less than 1% of the population in the U.S. identifies as transgender. But they basically want at least one transgender in almost every single product, or they want one, but they're going to want more and more and more in every single movie, TV show, video game, whatever. That's over-representation. This is another transgender. Over 1.6 million adults ages 18 and older and youths 13 to 17 identify as transgender in the United States, or 0.6% of those ages 13 and older. The study notes further elaborating among U.S. adults, 0.5%, about 1.3 million adults identify as transgender. Among youth younger than 18 to 17 among the youth ages 18 to 17 in the U.S. is 1.4% for about 300,000 youths, and it's growing because these young people are being heavily influenced by Hollywood, by their teachers, by their parents who are being wrapped up in all this to think that they are transgender. And you can be and anything is transgender these days. I mean anything. If you just if you're bi or if you not bi, but if you can identify as a cat, you can identify as a dog, as an alien, as a robot. I mean, for the love of God, I actually literally saw a video from Lives a TikTok where this girl claims that they're a robot, that they have no emotions and whatnot. And my comment to that was, well, if you don't have any emotions, then you're not going to get angry when you get when you get misgendered as a girl because you're a girl. Uh, Taking this information into account, the number of transgender individuals is in the films and television should amount to less than 1%. For Hollywood's productions to accurately represent the trans community, statistics GLAAD would like to dismiss regarding the empirical evidence. Yeah, because leftists love to dismiss empirical data. Ellis claims that the political pundits are villainizing transgenders by spreading cruel and harmful lies, yet failing to provide any evidence to back her unfounded claims. To this end, GLAAD has a history of turning blind eyes to truth that could potentially end up harming the narrative they like to try and push. In September of 2018, 26-year-old transgender shooter Sanuchia Musley openly fired at a Rite Aid distribution center in Ardene, Maryland, killing 3 people and injuring the other 3 before reportedly shooting herself in the head twice. GLAAD did not comment. In May of 2019, 16-year-old transgender shooter Maya Alec McKinney, alongside 18-year-old Devin Michael Erickson, opened fire at a STEM school, Highlands Ranch, killing 1 student and injuring 8 others. Glad to comment. Here's another transgender character, even though it was played by an actress. On November of 2022, non-binary 23-year-old shooter Anderson Lee Aldrich killed 5 people and injured 18 others at the Club Q in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Surprisingly, GLAAD did not address the shooting at the LGBTQ nightclub. Unsurprisingly, however, they did make sure to admit that the shooter was a member of the LGBT community. On March 2023, GLAAD also turned a blind eye to the horrific shooting of the Covenant School in Nashville, where 28-year-old transgender shooter Audrey Hale shot and killed 6 people, including 9-year-old Hallie Scruggs, Elvin Dykehouse, and William Kenny, as well as Covenant School's head, Catherine Kunze. I don't know. Substitute teacher Cynthia Peak and custodian Mike Hill. Another transgender character, Elliot Page, or Ellen Page, as she should be known as. On November 2023, the anniversary of the Club Q shooting, GLAAD published an article remembering the victims of the tragic event. Once again, the woke advocate group eventually intentionally omitted the shooter was a non-binary, instead opted to put the blame on extremists, making use of fear and violence to spread anti-LGBTQ lies and disinformation. Another transgender character. In fact, actually, I do believe that this is Quagmire's dad.
Yes.
Another shooting that happened just recently, just weeks ago, was the shooting in Iowa, where a transgender student shot up his school and ended up killing, I believe, 2 people. The principal, who put his life on the line, died just days ago. We've seen anti-LGBT lies and disinformation spewing from the mouths of politicians, served up to millions of social media and inciting violence everywhere, with elementary schools and libraries to places of worship, school board meetings to places of business, Ellis said at the time. She continued by and large, the American people support LGBTQ community. No, I don't. I don't support that community because the community is trash. I support an individual's right to identify, to be who they want, as long as they are responsible. But I don't support the community that pushes blatant lies and harmful mentalities that is causing people to go into schools to shoot up the school, or people who are living the rest of their lives in pain and suffering because of they were told that they were something that they were not. But a small group of extremists are using fears and violence to spread their lies, adding it's past time for our government, media, and corporate leaders to change course and truly support LGBTQ people. Yes, they want the government to force you to accept it. They want the media to get in front of your eyes and force you to watch it. And they want corporate leaders to force you to accept it, or else you're fired. What do you think, Table?
I was done with this conversation a while ago. No offense. I checked out.
I had a feeling.
I checked out because it was pissing me off because, in relation to all this stuff that's going on, yeah. They talked about how we're saying that this is wrong. They're talking about how they're underrepresentation, but just between us and the walls and the audience here, my son recently has been told, we're not going to say by whom or where he heard this at, but it is wrong for him to be a straight guy.
Yes.
So
the media is
pushing I'm not pushing anything on these people, but they don't need to be pushing things back on my family. So, and they are at times. And it's like, okay, well, and of course my son being my son, stood up and said, oh, well, that's wrong. And that's hypocritical. So,
well, yes. I mean, you have this woman here is a prime example of what's wrong. She's claiming that there's something going on when in reality, it's the exact opposite. Trans people are not being underrepresented; they're being overrepresented, and they're antagonistic about it.
Well, it's not even just that; they are getting the representation, and this article claims that they are not, and it's like, no, that's bullshit. There's different things now. They're in several parts of the media now. They're getting what they want, but apparently it's not enough, and it's like, okay, well, what more do you think you're going to get? You're not going to get no more. Well, there's nothing more to take.
Well, here's the funny thing about transgenderism is not reproductive because the majority of them end up becoming sterile. So how do they continue their movement? They have to go after your children.
Yep. Yeah. Good luck with that shit.
You did miss my previous article because I just began over an hour ago, talking about, or not over an hour ago, just less than an hour ago, talking about Alec Baldwin. He was just
indicted. No, I heard that. That. I even actually read the article.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I kind of upset that there was a lot of carelessness.
Yes,
because it's what it was carelessness.
Yes, I mean he first off he aimed a gun at someone, and from everything I hear from people who are gun advocates, they keep on saying, never point a gun at something you do not intend to shoot.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was supposed to be a prop, and it wasn't.
Well, no, they don't have prop guns. They actually have literal guns on set. But the thing is that because they have a prop gun doesn't show the effects that a normal gun does unless you go into like a lot of CGI. But
the point is there was checks and balances they did not do.
Yes, and the woman who is the armorer on the set only was there because her father was a well-known armorer. She was not there because of merit. She was there because of nepotism.
So nothing their checks and balances did not go through.
No.
They didn't do what they were supposed to do, and that's how a person died over it.
Yes.
And I hate to break it to people, but that's how. Hold up a second. Give me 1 second.
Do 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 do.
Hate to break it to you guys, but that's how Brandon Lee died.
Yes, I brought that up earlier.
Okay. We can't forget about that. That Brandon
The
Lee.
The difference is that Brandon Lee died because something got obstructed in the gun barrel when the blank went off.
Oh yeah.
What happened here is that
was a shrapnel that was not well taken care of.
Yeah. And what happened here is that someone was foolish enough to put a live round and not remove it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the rule that we teach your kids? Don't play with guns. Don't play with a loaded weapon. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. Next up. Fun little laugh here.
That's the first rule of Fight Club, people. We don't fight. We don't talk about Fight Club. That's the first rule of acting with guns. You make sure it's not loaded.
Yes. I mean, seriously, what the policy should be is that the armor checks the gun, the director checks the gun, or the assistant director checks the gun, whoever's directing the scene, and the actor checks the gun.
Hang on, I got this. Netflix Junior. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, nice.
All right, here we go. Disney said no thanks to She-Hulk season 2. Confirms to Tatiana Maslany.
Maslany. Yes.
Maslany.
I'll just hand this over to you.
Oh, goody.
Once you want to read this.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, 1 second, folks.
All right. Here we go, guys. Here we go. You guys are going to get some on-screen comedy.
Here we go.
All right. So Netflix Junior says no thanks to season 2 because they're okay with the fact that they made a season 1 and people liked it. People liked it so good. Okay. So they had to go ahead and cancel it because they want to focus on other things. Okay.
Oh, geez.
What'd you expect? You knew where this was going. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about this first part of the article. Disney, you made a piece of shit. Okay, you made a piece of shit. Yeah. No one liked it, but you can't even. But instead of standing proud, you have to say, "Yeah, we're definitely not doing season 2. It was crap." Of course, it was crap. The CGI was shit. The CGI was for an elementary school. I could do that shit in my backyard, man.
The picture that they use right here is good enough to just show how bad the CGI is. Even though it's a heavily pixelated picture, but it still shows how bad it is.
That's because it needed to make it smaller because they couldn't pay enough to blow it up.
Yeah.
Sad, isn't it? A $1 billion corporation basically has no money. When they bought LucasArts and all the technology that came with it, Pixar,
it got worse. It got worse when they bought Fox's film library.
All right, let's read this article. Here we go. Oh, really? Wow. All right. The actor says they went over budget. Oh boy.
I wonder why.
What was the budget? Like, what was the budget? A B-rated movie? They went over budget? This is over budget? What the fuck?
This is a TV show.
How is it over budget? What do they do? Not enough nude shots? I mean, come on.
Let me see if I can find out.
Went over budget, but the CGI was crap. Dude, CGI back in 2008 was a lot better. I have a movie that we could all watch together called Tron Legacy. That was better CGI than this bullshit.
So apparently it cost $200 million to render She-Hulk's on screen in pure CGI.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Are we sure about that?
That's according to Forbes.
Because we could just look at the budget for for Avengers Endgame, and we'll see how much it took for them. Because remember, Mark Ruffalo was in CGI the whole fucking move, the whole 3.5 hour movie. They was in CGI. Hang on, let's check that
out. And then, according to Forbes, $200 million is roughly the budget of Secret Invasions. And then Echo had a reported $40 million for 5 episodes.
That makes no sense because according to this, the budget for Avengers Endgame was only $356 million. So I don't know how the hell that pans out.
They keep on throwing more and more monies at these projects, thinking that throwing more and more money will make it more look more better, which it does not.
While I'm doing this article. All right.
So according to Pirates and Princesses, which is Clownfish TV's
what's up?
News site, each episode was $25 million.
Wow. I don't think any of that's right. I think Disney lied.
I would not be surprised.
I think Disney lied. I think they fudged the books on that, and then they said, "Yeah, we lost money." Well, duh, you lost money. It was shit.
They don't want to admit they lost money because I'll show you later on what happens with them losing money. I have an article for that.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about this. It again sounds like there will be no She-Hulk season 2, as series star Titania Maslany was recently asked if it's happening and said Disney has passed on it. Okay. Well, appearing on Nerd and Correct's Twitch live stream, Titania Maslany was asked if She-Hulk season 2 is happening, and she responded, "I don't think so. I think we blew our budget," and Disney was like, "No thanks."
I don't know why I'm getting so much joy from this.
She's never going to work in showbiz again, I don't think. Just for the simple fact that I don't think Disney would like this information out there. Because this kind of sounds like, like, how do you blow a budget on your own movie? Like, you have access to... You're supposed to be this company that has access to all of this media, all of this capabilities. You bought the fucking companies for these things to say... we have the ability to do this, and you didn't even do it. And now you're like, "Oh yeah, we blew budget."
Here's the thing: is if you remember correctly, the past couple of years, Disney has had several movies, several projects, almost every single one of their projects being reshot, being re-edited, being remade. Basically, I mean, for the love of God, they had to they redid all of Han Solo, all over. They redid the whole Solo movie.
Anyway, so back to this.
That's where a lot of almost all of their movies are almost all overblown budgeted because they go back through and they redo it all.
All right, here we go. A rumor from back in December also said the same, which caused the thought that Titania Maslany has been fired by Marvel to go viral on TikTok. Well, yeah, that's clearly okay. I saw that coming. Just because of the response here. Just because She-Hulk season 2 was not happening doesn't mean the actress and character still can't appear in the MCU. Well, duh, but probably isn't going to happen.
It's going to be like another Edward Norton thing where they're going to recast her if she ever makes another appearance.
Okay, let's look at some issues here. Okay, so anyway, She-Hulk happens to be rumored for Captain America: Brave New World, which is rumored to feature many different Hulks, and Titania Maslany could also appear in one of the upcoming Avengers movies. Okay, let's talk about this, guys. First off, all right, let's talk about what went wrong with. Let's talk about what went wrong with She-Hulk. Okay,
let's talk. A big scene that everyone was just like, "What on earth?"
You have clearly a computer-generated person, which the Hulk was better CGI than this. I don't know what the hell.
The Hulk in the Incredible Hulk movie was better than this.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see what the problem is. Okay, do you think I see a big green girl like this and I may not watch it, but I may watch it just to, I don't know. Maybe this could be kind of hot for me. But do you think I'm gonna, but hold up. Do you think I'm gonna let any of my kids watch this?
No.
Doing that? No. That's why you guys lost that.
Okay, so
that's not gonna happen.
To kind of go back to our previous article a little bit, you know how about the whole transgender thing. So when this was coming out, there was apparently a wedding scene, a wedding during one of these episodes, and Az from Heels versus Babyface was gushing over one of the characters in that wedding. I think she was the bride or like bridesmaid or whatever. Mm-hmm. And during Friday Night Tights, someone said, "Az, you know that's a transgender, right?"
Oh boy!
And he just.
He all right, here we
like,
go.
No.
Back in October. All right, here we go. Back in October 2022, Titania Maslany also doubted a She-Hulk season 2. I mean, I don't think so yet. Maslany answered when asked about season 2. Kevin in the scene seems to be very dismissive on the idea. So if we're basing this off of the real Kevin, that it doesn't seem likely. But he was also, I think, just trying to get rid of Jen at the point because she was asking too many questions. Who knows? The interviewer also recommended she to move. Hey, you know what? Okay, is it happening? Probably fucking not. They lost a lot of money on this. They did not get the turnout that they wanted. It's not happening. There you guys go. And if it does, so what? You guys gonna watch it? I'm not.
Oh, go to the next paragraph. The last paragraph. There.
Titania Maslany also blasted Disney CEO Bob Iger. She's fired. Anyway, we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't do shit like that when you can't do shit like that when that person may write your paycheck. So we're good there.
The one thing that you, as an entertainer, as an actor or an actress, as an entertainer, the thing you don't do is you never piss off the fans, you never piss off your audience, and you never piss off the hand that's writing that you never bite the hand that's writing your paycheck.
Well, she did that. But she pissed off the fans. She definitely pissed off the company, and more than likely because she blasted the head CEO Bob Iger himself. She bit the hand that fed her. So yeah, we're done. Probably he's not happy. If She-Hulk season 2 is happening, she's not in it.
She's recasted.
Yep. So, which of that case, I'm going to say this right now. I would like to point out one important thing that I mentioned. You just don't go after the person that basically. But Titania Maslany, I have seen you in other media. Love you. You're a great actress. I'm sorry you were subject to Disney. I'm sorry you had to put up with, she's definitely in the Orphan Black TV show. She's in Ginger Snaps 2. She is in a bunch of other things I've seen as well. Nothing really worth mentioning too much. But I will say this. Sorry you had to put up with She-Hulk,
Well, I mean, because a lot of the directors and producers and stuff, a lot of the directors and cast members and everything are hired because they fill a quota instead of actually being hired to do the role. And by the way, another project that is not seeing the light of day right now is the new Star Wars rumored claims Rey film delayed indefinitely. But don't get your hopes up. So yeah.
Wait. Are they saying that the Rey film is delayed indefinitely? So it's definitely delayed.
Yes, it is definitely
But delayed. Don't get your hopes up. What are we not getting our hopes up about? The fact that it's delayed or the fact
that it is indefinitely delayed?
So don't get your hopes up about it being indefinitely delayed.
Yes. So this is a rumor. So a rumor.
Okay, wait. Let's look at this title here real quick. Okay, so
it is saying that the movie is that there's a rumor that the movie is definitely delayed.
Oh, okay.
But don't get your hopes up that it is indefinitely delayed. It is delayed.
Oh, okay.
But don't get your hopes up that it is indefinitely delayed.
Okay. So that means we don't want this. So they're telling the fans, don't get your hopes up about it being indefinitely delayed. So they're telling the fans, don't get your hopes up. We haven't fucked you yet.
In a sense, yes.
But we're going to.
Supposedly,
how do you speak to your fans like that?
Well, this is bound into comics. You know, they like to tell narratives and stuff like that.
Okay.
Supposedly set in the post-sequel trilogy, Disney trilogy, new Jedi Order, the true Jedi Order is the best Jedi Order, the fighting the Yuuzhan Vong and all
Luke
that stuff.
Skywalker
So
in
cool.
the legacy era and the extended universe. Hate to break it to you guys, but given the title of this article, you done fucked yourselves.
I mean, expanded universe did it better, and they did it first.
Yep. Well, like I said, because of the title of the article, I am going to make it a point to not see and make sure that Disney doesn't get any of my money for this film when it comes out.
If it comes out, if it is delayed or not, indefinitely delayed, I should say, basically canceled.
Well, you know, yeah, I'm going to actually hope for its cancellation just because of the wording of this title on this article. You just got to learn. You just can't talk to people like that. I don't give a fuck who you are.
This is bound into comics. That's just how they do their titles. So
whose narrative are they speaking themselves? Is it their narrative?
They're trying to say
Disney's narrative.
They're trying to say it in favor of the fans. So is what they're doing. They're just saying
in favor of the fans.
It could be delayed indefinitely, but just don't get your hopes up because you know things sometimes happen.
I'm gonna get my hopes up. I'm never gonna spend money on a Rey movie.
Well, that's a 100% insurance. The standalone movie will follow Rey, who is a nobody, a Palpatine, and Skywalker. Take your pick, because I mean, even Daisy Ridley didn't know, as she set out to instruct a new generation of Jedi in the ways of the Force. Yeah, that's gonna be a nightmare because she had a lot of anger issues during the whole trilogy, so I don't think she should be the best at being a Jedi. First announced in production at the 2023 Star Wars Celebration event, the project was received few updates since, with the only ones coming via a pair of interviews in which star Daisy Ridley's noted that she was yet to see a full script. Well, that's not promising. That was until January 16th when World of Reels, Jordan Rumi, shared a supposed piece of news that got a lot of viewers' hopes up, mine included. The person that wrote this, saying, I've been told that Disney has delayed the film indefinitely, which is why they surprised everyone last week and decided to announce The Mandalorian Grogu as the next Star Wars movie. He reported, they just don't have confidence that the new Jedi Order will be happening in the new future. That's a good thing to suspect, because I'm definitely not going to go see it. I haven't seen the last Star Wars movie. The problems seem to reside in creative differences between screenwriters Stephen Knight and Lucasfilm. Again, this seems to be a huge issue with Kathleen Kennedy, is that any person that she casts to be her director and writer, she always seems to have bumping heads with them. I'm told that the draft was originally been written for the film, but Lucasfilm gave him so many notes that he had to start from scratch. Further, he asserted, to make matters worse, there's a possibility that Knight might not be staying on board of the project. His frustrations have grown, so he's put Star Wars on the back burner and is now focused on the screenplay for Peaky Blinders movie, which is supposed to be going to production in the fall. But then, right on time, and just hours after the rumor began to spread like wildfire across social media, Gizmodo released their own report claiming that the Rey film was contrary to Rumi's report, still on track. Therein, the outlet's German Luzier said that, according to the supposed insider source of Lucasfilm, Rumi's report is inaccurate and Knight continues to write and be part of the process. In fact, the company is waiting for his latest draft as you read this. What is your opinion so far on what's going on here? Oh, sorry. He left me. He's gone out to eat real quick. Let's see here. Yet all the noise and internet.
My thoughts here so far on this, Chris. Thank you for asking.
God, scare the heck out of me. Yeah, yelling in my ear just out of the blue.
Yeah, I was grabbing my dinner, and then I heard you ask me that question. I ran all the way downstairs just to go and be like, personally, I just don't care.
I know.
I am done with Star Wars. I don't like the direction they're taking it in. So,
yeah, but I mean, pretend you do care to even give a damn about this. How do you feel about them? You have one story that says, "Oh, they're going to be delaying it indefinitely," and the other source that says, from an official source, saying, "Oh, it's still going on. Trust us."
My God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is like if I get to see Daisy Ridley's tits, I might see the movie. Okay, but other than that, it's not happening. She's a good actress. Don't get me wrong, very attractive. I think she's done and dirty by the crappy writing. The writing is crap. And it doesn't, it's funny. How the hell do you hire a producer and the producer has an issue with you when you're the one hiring them?
Yeah, that's a repeated offense by Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how does that work? Like,
I mean, she
paying
did it
them.
she did it with Lord and Miller. She did it with the Beboff and Be and Wife and whatever, the Wise and what's his face from the Lord of the from not Lord of the Ring, from God, my mind just went blank. God dang it.
Didn't she have a problem
Game of
with
Thrones.
Game
of Thrones. There is supposedly that was a huge rumor. I don't know exactly if that's true or not. She did it with
Jon Favreau didn't have much to say after season 2 of Mandalorian.
Yeah, and then she had the same issue with the with what's her face over the X-Wing movie, which a lot of people there was actually people that was genuinely interested in that one. But yeah, she constantly butts head with people. So go ahead and go back to your dinner. I'll finish the rest of this.
Well, before we do that, let me excuse myself because I probably will not be coming back. Chris, thank you for having me on the show. I do appreciate it. I invaded this universe long enough. I've done my damage. There's no more damage that can be done, I don't think, or at least if there is, I'm tired of doing it. So my name is Tabletop Chunky, and I'm going to post my link right here. I'm going to do it against Chris's will because, once again, I'm invading this universe. That's my whole thing. Invade the universe.
Yes, it is.
So here we go. I'm going to invade the universe. Here we go. I'm going to give it to you too, Chris. So that way you can post it. Go. That is my link to my channel. I do tabletop reviews. I do actual plays. Chris is starring in them. He's going to be starring in some cool stuff coming up. Chris, I have an excellent part in a game in 2025 that I want to talk to you about. And I want you to play a devout Christian man. You think I'm actually funny? I'm actually sure that we'll talk about it later. This is actually for a tabletop game.
Okay, then I'm interested to see where this is going.
yeah. We'll run into that later. But that'll be around the second half of 2024, so it won't even begin to take place. The writing for it won't even begin to take place until after June of this year. Yes, I've got lots of plans, guys. So please go like and subscribe. I hope you will not be disappointed at least. But if you are, I do apologize. And if you're not, welcome to the madness. Anyway, you guys have a great and wonderful day. And thank you for having me. Goodbye, Chris.
See ya. See you later. And I'm alone. I'm all by myself. Let's get back to this. Further, even where was I? I lost my place. Okay, I think we were here. Yet, for all the noise on the internet that has subsequently made both over both reports, it should be noted that both lack any real verifiable sources for the claims. This is puzzling, as while Disney Lucasfilm may not be the most organized shop in town, you can be certain that they just immediately shelved their announced films because a single screenwriter was temporarily putting them on the back burner. Further, even if Knight was truly experiencing creative differences with Disney, history has shown that such issues are not necessarily a death knell for the given production. For example, for prime example, look no further than the franchise's own Solo: A Star Wars Story, which has simply re-signed for its original directorial duo of film lord and Chris Miller to Ron Howard following their own respective disagreements with the company vision for the prequel film, which again, I will reiterate that that movie has lost money, as everyone has known. It would have been interesting to see what Lord and Miller had plans. But controversy, history has shown that Disney has been unafraid to outright abandon its own share of previously announced Star Wars projects, from David Benioff and DB Wise. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of earlier. Trilogy, to Ryan Johnson's trilogy, to Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, to Guillermo del Toro Fall and Rise of Jabba the Hutt. Wait, there was actually something like that? I'd never heard of that freaking thing. Sorry, jumping around a little bit. To Gina Carano's led Ranger of the New Republic. That one actually kind of sounded a little interesting. To the countless other bits and pieces that never made it out of the Disney hype machine. There's more than enough evidence to suggest that the canning of Shermie Obadiah Shanoi's upcoming film is not outside of the realm of possibilities. No, there is not, because she decided to open up her big mouth and say that she's going to try and scare the male audience with her feminist activist ideology. However, it should not be noted that Gizmodo did have an actual true thing to say about the film's development. Can anyone say that 1% certain that it's coming out? Of course not. That is a Star Wars in the last 10 years have taught us anything. It's that until the camera starts rolling, not everything that's announced ends up happening. Yes, because Kathleen Kennedy has this issue of trying to keep her job by throwing out all these projects to make the investors of Disney happy, and yet doesn't deliver. This is the actual truth of the Ray movie. With so much unconfirmed information flying around, fans would be best to temper their expectations until they either see an official set of materials or receive direct company word of its own cancellation. Uh, while Disney would pursue a continuation of sequel trilogy rather than focus on parts of the attention of the Star Wars saga fans would respond well to, it's beyond our understanding. But as writing, that seems to be what's happening. Yes, fans don't want this. They don't like this. This is the Disney trilogy has caused irreparable damage. Disney in general has caused irreparable damage to Star Wars. The best thing to do is Disney to give the company over to someone, give Lucasfilm to someone else, even if it means that you kind of license it or something. I don't know, and say shelve things for a year, or shelve things for a decade, and then come back with something brand new, in maybe something that is a little more in the line of the expanding universe. Get rid of the woke ideology, get rid of the feminism, the toxic feminism, and bring Star Wars back to what it was, which is about the Skywalker family. Bring it back to about good versus evil, and bring it back to what George Lucas wanted, uh, which is good conquering evil. But only time will tell. Next up, further troubles for Disney. Da, 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 da. Disney stocks bumps up after Nelson Peltz goes all in on proxy battle. So for those of you who don't know, Nelson Peltz, this gentleman here, is a bit of a conservative in some spheres. Or I don't know much about him. I've heard he's a bit of a conservative, but I don't know. But he is one of the big owner. He's one of the big owners of stock in Disney, and he is now gunning for a seat on the board. Yesterday, as of 2 days ago, so 3 days ago, yesterday, Nelson Peltz made it clear that he intends to move forward with his threatened proxy war with the Walt Disney Company. Peltz wants to add himself to the former Disney CFO Rasulo onto the Disney board and former Disney CFO. Okay, onto the Disney board to course correct the company that keeps hemorrhaging money. Upon its announcement, Disney stock did bump up to a high as a bit above $93, but the sense settled into a $92 range. So yes, there was a bump here. Oh yeah, right here too. Peltz planned to meet with proxy attorney Glass Lewis and ISS News next month to begin lobbying shareholders to his side, basically pulling something like what Elon Musk did with Twitter. Peltz Train Funds Management has significant Disney stocks, mainly due to the ousted Marvel head Ike Perlmutter. The plan to reach out to shareholders in March ahead of the annual stockholder meeting on January 18th, Peltz filed a preliminary proxy statement listing reasons why he and Rasulo should be added to the Walt Disney board. His goal includes raising the Disney Plus profit margin by 5% by 2027 from 15 to 20, aligning with Netflix level. According to Michael Nathanson of Moffett Nathanson, Disney Plus streaming service seems to be the crux of Peltz's argument. When asked by CNBC about the margin that Peltz is trying to achieve and if it's achievable, Nathanson indicated that while we do not have all the information, theoretically it is possible. Still, investors need to be made aware of that it is possible. He said in theory, Disney has advantages Netflix does not have. The library content, they have kids content that works globally. They have franchises they own. They own ABC and other networks. They should be able to get into the range, and I think the investment community is really not believing that's possible, and therefore Disney Company needs to put more emphasis on how to get there. To me, when I listen to his, which is Pelt's arguments, that it is the crux of the debate, in my view, of what people need is to hear more of. Which, if anyone remembers, the whole reason why Bob Chapek was ousted was because he was taking money from other departments and funneling into Disney Plus. So if they could get Disney Plus to be a little more profitable, that could help a lot of their money issues right now, which they are desperately in the hole. He continued by discussing how, since the pandemic, the investment community has lost faith in streaming, citing a lack of goalposts and strategy being a work in progress. Ultimately, the faith is gone as investors do not believe it is could achieve a value close to Netflix. And this was kind of predicted by a lot of YouTubers back when all these streaming services popped up during the pandemic. People said, hey, this is not going to work out in the long run. They're right now it's just hype that with Disney Plus, with um HBO Max that has now become Max, with Paramount Plus, with Peacock, so on and so forth. All these streaming services that are popping up because all these companies want a piece of the Netflix Hulu action. Excuse me. That it's not going to work out in the long run. Let's see here. Nathanson suggests Iger lay out a better plan with Hulu integration. Disney needs to communicate more with its investors about the plan. He says it's about laying a foundation, and he seems to agree with Peltz about that. To me, 2024 has to be about laying the foundation of how streaming could move into a brand profitable between 15 to 20%. I think that's the train that's Trian's major argument. And if I was them, I would keep pushing for that. And I think that's where they could get a reception from investors. Basically, investors need to hear more from Disney, which they're not, from my understanding, from people like Clownfish TV and whatnot, who actually do listen in on the calls. They don't get the responses they need. In fact, actually, I think a couple of times they got blown off during investor calls when they kind of seeped through the uh, assorted with the approved question answers, Q&As. Yeah. Let's see. This, besides the increased streaming revenue, Tryon wants Disney to change the ESPN model to a direct-to-consumer service by late 2024 to 2025. The reasoning in this that a change needs to happen for cable subscription model is changing. However, with this change, Peltz wants more short-term profitability targets. This would likely change investors feel more secure and could boost the stock. Leading up to the April meeting, Peltz also plans to start using X, which is Twitter, to campaign and return to his website restorethemagic.com, which he started last year when threatened to push a proxy war between 2023 annual shareholder meeting, because he back then said he wanted to get in there, and Bob Iger and his allies within the board tried everything they could to try and kick him out, as well as making promises to Peltz that they would change, which they did not, which is why Peltz is pushing for it now. Is going to war with Disney right now to get a seat on the board. Ultimately, he stepped back to wait and see after Disney CEO Bob Iger said he was going to aggressively cut costs to maximize profits. Since then, almost every Disney theatrical release has bombed at the box office, with only Elemental and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 making a profit. And it's questionable. Disney Plus Marvel shows that have continued to decline in viewership, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and the Marvels failed terribly at the box office. Last year, stocks dropped under $80 per shareholder as investors grew increasingly leery. No matter who wins the battle, something needs to change. Maintaining the status quo isn't going to fix the issue. I agree. And given that it's the current leadership that has been leading this downward trend, it is all Bob Iger and his allies' faults. And according to, I believe it was Nerdrotic. I believe it was Nerdrotic on his channel. He on one of his shows. I don't remember if it was the Nooner or if it was the Friday Night Tights. He talked about how the people on the board don't even own a sizable portion of the company's stock. I think he said they each person own 15% compared to the big companies that the people that actually do own stock and are really concerned, which is somewhat of a similar a similar take to what happened on Twitter when Elon Musk took over that company. That the people on the Twitter stock had no stock, didn't have any stock in the company at all, and yet somehow the Twitter board didn't have any stock in the company at all, and somehow they were calling all the shots that were affecting other people's stocks. So yeah, I say the best of luck to the guy. I cross my fingers and hope that he will change it, that he gets on the board, and that he does do what he promised, which is to get the company back on track to what Walt Disney and his brother wanted. Uh, let's see here. So, on another note of stupid decisions, come on. I had a thing that popped up and bugged out my system. Blackish director Kenya Barris to remake It's a Wonderful Life for modern audiences. This movie is a classic. This movie is timeless. It is about the story of a man who has gone through hell. He went through the depression. He was a banker who went through depression and was on the verge of ending his own life and was pulled back from it by an angel sent by God, and found the beauty and love that would help him, and was able to come out on top in the end, because the community that he fought to support and preserve uh, came in to help him, showing that he actually was a good force, a good influence on the people around him. Nothing is sacred in Hollywood. Everything they own the rights to is just possible fodder for the remake and reimagining. Walt Disney is notorious for this. Paramount is taking the swings at the title for most unwanted reimagining with a remake of It's a Wonderful Life. Paramount, along with Blackish director Kenya Barris, plans on remaking the iconic holiday film for modern audiences by remaking the film for POC, people of color actors, because that worked out so well with the Wonder Years reboot. Barris mentions this is okay. You don't get the audience because people don't want a remake, and even black people don't want a remake. What black people want is they want stories that are genuinely aimed to them, that don't involve them being in poverty, that doesn't involve them being in gangs, doesn't involve them being shot up at every turn. Like that one movie where the guy woke up that morning like a freaking Groundhog Day thing by a police officer, shot by a police officer. No, this just further shows that these people do not understand their audience. They do not associate with their audience. It's bullshit. Barris mentioned that this project, along with they're also remaking The Wizard of Oz as well, which will be set in Inglewood on the Sundance Film Festival. Variety reported on the comments that were made by Barris as he was taking part in Variety of Studios presented by Audible. Here's what he had to say. I feel like Christmas movies are amazing, and I like the idea of taking something that has that long of a history and tale behind it and putting an amazing piece of talent to tell the story. Okay, your first statement here says Christmas movies are amazing, and I find that are amazing, and this is one of those most amazing Christmas movies out there. Now you want to get your grubby little hands on it and make it into something that you want, because you apparently don't feel like the movie is good enough to stand on its own. You have to change it because you think that it needs to be perfected, which it does not. It's a guy who's trying to help out his community, and things are going to turn around on him. I think that's the perfect story to tell a person of color. Yes, because white people apparently can't ever do that anymore, according is it from what it looks like this is telling here. Brown or black or brown to get into to that because our communities have some issues and someone trying to help the community out. I think that's the perfect vehicle to set the story from. Then why don't you set another movie about helping a black and brown community? How about you set up a story where someone is fighting against the corruption that have been politicians that have such as in Chicago, Baltimore, LA, Seattle, that has been hurting the black and brown community instead of just taking something from that someone else made and made a masterpiece out of it and putting your grubby little hands all over it and making it worse. No one's going to watch this movie. Bears also was also the director of the remake White Men Can't Jump on Disney Plus, which no one cared about. I didn't even know that this movie existed. It's a Wonderful Life is an American classic done almost 80 years ago. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea to try and remake this film at all. That being said, one could take inspiration from the film and make a new story. I agree with that. The thing is, they don't want to be inspired. They want to just copycat and say that we did it better. Because that's what they do every single time. Call it something else that isn't a remake. But some things could be left alone. That is one of them. This is a stupid decision, just like it is stupid that they're trying to remake the Wizard of Oz, and it shouldn't be done. Whoever okayed this in the Paramount, shame on you. Next up, a horrible decision, I believe, because it falls right into the lap of the World Economic Forum about you shall own nothing and you shall like it, which is bullshit. I want to own property. I don't want to rent it, which is what Ubisoft executive says gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games for subscriptions to take off. An executive at Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft has said gamers will need to get comfortable not owning their games before video game subscriptions truly take off. Speaking in discussion, the launch of Ubisoft's new Ubisoft Plus Premium and Ubisoft Classic subscription, Philip Tremblay, director of subscriptions at Ubisoft, explained to GI Biz that what needs to happen before the subscription services become more significant slice of the video game business. I don't have a crystal ball, but when you look at the different subscription services that are out there, we've had a rad expansion over the last couple of years, but it's still relatively small compared to the other models, Tremblay said. Which, if you've noticed, a lot of people are happy with a subscription basis. Oh, look, funny. IGN also wants you to subscribe to something. But if we kind of look back at the Disney article where it talks about that subscriptions for Disney Plus are not so great, yeah, they're manufacturing an issue, and they're trying to force you to pay for a subscription because they don't want to produce physical content anymore, and they want you to pay in full for a virtual game instead of a physical content. We're seeing expansions on consoles as the likes of PlayStation and Xbox bringing new people in. On PC, from a Ubisoft standpoint, it's already been great, but we are looking to reach out more on PC. So we see opportunities there. One of the things that we saw in the game is that gamers are used to a little bit like DVD, owning their games. Well, yes, because we like to own something. We like to hold something instead of having it virtual, and that we're and wondering, is this going to be still here in 5, 10, 20 years, or even in a month? Because that's what happens with digital content, is that it can be removed, it can be altered, it can become something that you did not intentionally, that you did not buy it for. That's the consumer shift that as that's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD collection or DVD collection. That's a transformation that's been a bit slow to happening in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game another time, your progress file is still there. That's not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built on the game or engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with your own, with not owning your game. That's not feeling comfortable with not owning your game. That's feeling confident that that you don't have to start all over again. That's basically a memory card. That's what we used to have in the day, was memory cards. What you want to do is you want to make people pay more and have less. I still have 2 boxes of DVDs, and I definitely understand the gamer's perspective with that, but as people embrace that model, they will see that these games still will exist, the services will continue, and you'll be able to access them when you feel like. That's reassuring. No, what's reassuring is that I have something in my hand, and I get to play it whenever I want. Not reassurance is wondering, is this game going to be here in a month, 5 years, 10 years? Because at some point in time, these people will have to clean house and make room for more games. Streaming is also a is and also they're going to make you pay more for the game just to play it. Whereas with a physical copy, you get paid for it just once, and you get to have it for your entire life. With a subscription, you have to pay every month. And sometimes you don't want to pay, you don't care about the other games that you're subscribing for. Streaming is also a thing that works really well with subscriptions. So you pay when you need it, as opposed to paying all the time. How about I just pay once for what I want, and I play it all the time, instead of having to pay it every month? That's renting. It's not owning. And at some point in time, when you rent something, it would eventually, that renting will become null and void, and you won't own it. You won't have it. Such as an apartment complex that becomes condemned and you're forced to move out, or new landlord takes over and they want new tenants, so on and so forth. They will kick you out. Or you make a statement online, and Ubisoft, in their oh so grand wisdom, will cancel your subscription, says, sorry, but we don't want to be associated with you. It's fair to say Tremblay's comments have gone down well, haven't gone down well with some gamers who prefer to buy their video games on disc as opposed to downloading them and streaming them. But it's worth pointing out that Ubisoft, like many other video game publishers, does still release its games on disc. And while digital sales have grown as a portion of the overall sales over the years, a significant portion of players still prefer to own their games. Tremblay's comments also bring up the issue of video game preservation. As more games go down the digital route or rely upon an internet connection to work, so does the risk that these games are lost to time when their servers are shut down. Yes, I said that earlier. Developer Remedy Entertainment has heavily criticized its release for releasing Alan Scott 2 as a digital-only video game to keep the price below $70. Though there are some people that will make you pay for full $70 for a digital copy. They will do that because it'll be the only way. It'll be the only game. It will be the only version out there for you someday. The physical versus digital debate is sure to grow even more vociferous as more publishers consider our perhaps inevitable all digital future. Last year, the leaked news of Microsoft's plan for a slim version of the Xbox X shocked gamers because it mentioned the hardware wouldn't have a Blu-ray device. As Xbox boss Phil Spencer said at the time, these plans may have changed. Going digital is a horrible decision. It is it doesn't give you security. You're buying for it doesn't give you the security of owning it because you're just buying something temporarily to however the whim of the holder of that content lets you. And at some point in time, if you make a mistake or if that company goes under or if that company decides they don't want to keep that anymore, you'll cease to own it. Next up, Doctor Who star Millie Gibson, this young lady right here, to be replaced by Verada Sethu after season 1. This girl here. Yeesh. Doctor Who star Millie Gibson is being replaced after 1 season. Variety has confirmed. Jurassic World Dominion actor Verada Sethu will star opposite. Wait, is that girl that was with the glasses? I don't remember. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, did it say? It said. It said Jurassic World. What was it? What was it? Oh, Yeah, Dominion. Okay, I know. I haven't seen Jurassic World Dominion because I didn't care for it. Will star opposite Shurigawa as the Doctor's companion in the 15th season of the show. Gibson, also who until now was the best known for playing Kelly Nealon on British soap Coronation Street, made her debut on the long-running sci-fi show on Disney's Christmas special. She played a companion, Ruby Sunday, alongside Gatwa, who played as the 15th Doctor. Well, is he though? Is he the 15th Doctor, or is he just a side piece until they come up with something else? Gibson will return as Ruby in the upcoming 14th season, which is set to drop in May on BBC in the UK and Disney Plus internationally. But for season 15, which is currently shooting in Wales, Sethu will play Gatwa's companion, a source confirmed. No other details have been revealed about her role. Sethu was previously appeared on Andor and Mrs. Sadu Investigates. Never heard of that. Gatwa, who also starred in Barbie, will stay as a doctor. Showrunner Russell T Davies, who rebooted the cult series back in 2005, has returned to write and executive produce the new seasons, which are co-produced by Bad Wolf, which is being funded by Disney. Season 14 guest star includes Yasmine Fenny from Heartstopper, singer Bonnie Langford, Glee's Jonathan Groff, and Indira Varma from Obsession. Along others, Doctor Who celebrated the 60th anniversary last November, which was a horrible turnout because they. Well, I mean, if you ever watched Jeremy Wormy's show episodes, you'll see that the Christmas special and the 60th anniversary did worse than previous Doctor Who specials. Reps from the BBC and Bad Wolf did not respond to Variety's requests for comments. The Daily Mirror has first reported the news. I have heard a mixture of things. I have heard that she is leaving because she does not feel safe or she wants to do other things. And I've also heard that Millie here wants to or was fired. Only time will tell. I'm not a fan in what they have done with Doctor Who. To me, Doctor Who ends with the Husbands of Reverse song. I liked that Christmas special. It was a lot of fun. Um, and I mean, you have Millie here and also Chitagawa and Russell T Davis, who has betrayed the fans in injecting more politics into the show. We want Doctor Who. We want the Doctor Who. We want the Doctor, a 1,000-year-old Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, who's just some guy in a box running around doing good. We don't want him to be some product of SJW bullshit. We want adventures in space and time. We don't want uh commentary on societal difficulties or something like that. We want escapism from that because we live it every single day. We want escapism from that, and Doctor Who used to be something like that. Everything that I talked about on the show used to be something that we could escape to and feel better and give us lighten the weight on our shoulders. But it's all become trash because Hollywood, the BBC, and more think that they know better than us. That know better than what we're interested in. Well, I have something to tell you. Bullshit. Let's see here. What's up next? We will do this one next. I'll do a couple more articles and then we'll call it a night. From Bloody Disgusting, David F. Sandberg directing movie adaptation of the Until Dawn video game. So let's see here. Supermassive hit video game Until Dawn is celebrating its 10th anniversary next year. Next year? Okay. The Hollywood Reporter reports today that a movie adaptation is on the way. David F. Sandberg, who directed Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. I did like that one. Lights Out. Lights Out. I can't think of Lights Out. Oh, yeah, that one. That one wasn't horrible. Before helming 2 Shazam movies. Ooh, that last one was not the best. Will be seated in the director's chair for the Until Dawn movie. Blair Butler, Sony's The Inventions, wrote the original draft of the screenplay, and THR notes that Gary Duberman from It and Salem's Lot is now working on the script. THR previews the long line for the featured adaptation is kept deep inside the caves that Screen Gems is describing is an R-rated love letter to horror genre centered on an ensemble cast. Until Dawn centers around the group of 8 teenagers who decided to vacation for a night in a cabin in the fictional Blackwood Mountain, exactly 1 year after the disappearance of 2 girls, the twin sisters of a member of the group, whose family owns the mountain. Shortly after arriving, the gang finds themselves under attack by a psychopath and must attempt to survive until sunrise. For those of you that have played the game, you all know that that's not entirely true. And for those that you have not played the game, I don't know, go watch X-Ray Girls play through the game, or watch my mind just went blank. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, fudge nuggets. What is that guy's name? I know some of you are probably screaming at me about, like, who am I talking about? Markiplier. Markiplier does a funny one. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. X-Ray Girl or Markiplier. I had a little fun with X-Ray Girls because I sent her screaming alerts that kind of shocked her and her husband. Throughout the adventure, players alternate between all 8 characters, making critical decisions as the story advances, which drastically affect the game outcome, leading to hundreds of different scenarios. The Until Dawn movie is being made by Screen Gem and PlayStation Productions. Producers including Doberman Sandberg and Loda Luston, as well as Roy Lee of Vertigo Entertainment and PlayStation Productions as Assad Quizilbash and Carter Swan. The success of the Until Dawn game led Supermassive Games to create the Dark Picture Anthology, an anthology series of horror video games with a similar interactive approach. Supermassive was also behind the slasher video game The Quarry, which those two I want to play at some point in time. The one thing I have to ask about this is why? Why is this being done? Why? Because I loved the game Until Dawn. It was fun. I played it multiple times, and it was a story that I controlled. That's one of the cool aspects of it, is that it's a story that you control. I don't want them to make a movie of this. I mean, I would love them to have more horror movies, some in the similar realm as this, because this was fun, and I'd miss a good old fashioned horror movie. Horror. But I'm not excited for this, not one bit. I mean, for all I know, it could actually turn out good if they stick close to the story of the video game. It could be good, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it. I guess I'll keep an eye on it. I'll watch out for it. But yeah. Let's see here. Okay, 2 more articles. We'll do 2 more articles and we'll call it a night. Harry Potter's TV series zeroes in on the premise as selected writers pitch their ideas to Max. This is exciting. I can't wait. I hope they do stick closer to the books, because there's so much in the books that it was not in the movies. Like, for example, the freaking mirror piece that Harry uses to talk to Aberforth Dumbledore to get him and to get Dobby to send Dobby to help them when they're trapped in the Malfoy's manor cellar, as well as somehow treating Ron as less of a dumb idiot who is a jerk later on in the movies because of the influence of the Horcrux. In last April, Warner Brothers Discovery revealed that the series, based on the classic Wizarding World, would be coming to streaming on streaming service Max. Deadline understood that the things in Potter World are now heated up with the marathon of pitches underway from writers vying for the rights to adapt J.K. Rowling's 7 books. Each season is supposed to be one of the books. And I think I've heard that there are possibilities of doing more than that with the Marauders, which is one of the Marauders was Harry Potter's father and his friends. James Potter, Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, and Peter Pettigrew. Martha Hiller, Kathleen Jordan, Tom Moran, and Michael Leslie are among those who are presenting their visions of the streaming service, and Warner Brothers television source said, "It's an interesting mix of Brits and American. We've hired the I just lost my place. We've hired we've heard that the group of writers are commissioned by Max to create pitches for the series reflecting their take on the IP. We hear the first round of pitches meeting happens in Los Angeles this week, and sources said that the top choices will be on the next round in the UK. It's unclear how involved Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, who lives in Edinburgh, Scotland, has been with the process, but she is expected to involve in the decision making on the series, which she's executive produces. Deadline understood that there may be an opportunity for more than one of these writers to be involved, and that Max is open to the possibilities of developing more than one idea based on Harry Potter. Sources did stress that the process is in its nascent stages. Reps for Max and WBTV declined comments. Hillier is a British writer who was executive producer on Netflix and BBC fantasy series The Last Kingdom. Never heard of that. As well as the spin-off film The Last Kingdom, Seven Kings Must Die. She got started on British soaps, including EastEnders and Holby City. Jordan created the Netflix series Teenage Bounty Hunters. What the heck? Which was executive produced by Genji Cohen. Jordan is also working on the Orange is the New Black creator on the Decameron, which received a series under order in 2022. Morin is a British writer who created Amazon's series The Devil's Hour, which starred Peter Capaldi. He also worked on Amazon's sci-fi series The Feed and Rob Lowe cop drama Wild Bill. Leslie wrote The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Ooh, I did hear that did not go so good, so maybe not him. And was executive producer on AMC's John Lee Cara drama The Little Drummer Girl, which starred Florence Pugh, Michael Shannon, and Alexander Skarsgård. At one stage, he was attached to Peacock's reboot of Battlestar Galactica. Harry Potter series will be produced by Bonte Film and TV, and production company shares by Rowling's agent Neil Blair and Warner Brothers Television. The pair will exec produce with Bonte CEO Ruth Kenley Letts and David Heyman, who produced the movies, was in talks to the exec produce. Hold on one second. Needed to wet my whistle. In April, Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav said the Harry Potter on Max will be a decade-long one. Hopefully. I'm excited for more Harry Potter. My wife and I, we read Harry Potter books to each of the three kids. It's really moving. For 10 consecutive years, people will see Harry Potter on HBO. I mean, it's really something, he said. This caps a process that began in early 2023 for Casey Boyes, the chairman of CEO HBO Max and HBO and Max Content. He said that before its official announcement, the project in April, the company had been trying to be very close to the vest. We haven't gone out to agencies. We have our own internal process where we've been thinking about people, but we have not wanted to go out into the world now. That news is out there. We still start working with the Blair partnership, and we'll start going out to the businesses. Rowling's Wizarding World spawned from her 7 best-selling Harry Potter books at 600 million copies worldwide. Spans retail stores, theme parks, and global stages. Play with a 7.7 million global grossing feature franchise, as well as $1.8 billion grossing spin-off Fantastic Beasts film movies. trilogy. It was unfortunate that that series was ended because I was kind of like looking forward to seeing more of what happened between Dumbledore and Grindelwald that did not involve who was going to lose their pants. I want to see that battle that they talked about in the books. Um, yeah, so I'm a little excited for this. I want to see Harry Potter. I want to see what they do with the TV series. I want to see how close. I'm hoping that they're going to be closer to the books. Could it go? Could it go awry? It could possibly be going awry. I don't know. Part of me is like with that little whisper of, "Oh, things could be worse," and another part is like, "Yes, do it." With J.K. Rowling being closely active on the with the as an executive producer, I'm hoping that things will be done right with the series. Warner Brothers has already shown that they can do the right thing with the series, with the Harry Potter movies being as good as they were. I hope that the TV series will be better. Well, will be closer, I should say. I don't know how. I don't know how good. I don't know if they're going to be better than the movies. It's going to be hard to beat those. Ah, shoot. Mouse almost did not want to cooperate. One last article. This is a nice little high note I think we should go out on. Is from Geeks and Gamers. Alpha Core #1 is another win for the Ripperverse. With the third book and second title, the Ripperverse continues its epic introduction into the comic book world. Isom's first two issues had pre-ordered campaign totaling $3,737,920 and $2,351,589, respectively. The third campaign for Alpha Core #1 issue finished tonight with which tonight was which was with it tonight, which is January 21st. $1,394,000,000 from 13,252 customers, which is a 434% of the $300,000 goal. Alpha Core about a superhero team looking for a superpowered murderer while dealing with a public divided on their reaction to them, is the first Ripperverse comic not written by the company's own Eric July. It's written by Chuck Dixon, a comic book legend most famous for co-creating Batman's villain Bane and artist Graham Nolan. Alpha Core is drawn by Joe Bennett of the Immortal Hulk. Here is a snippet of Eric's Twitter, and that wraps it up for the Alpha Core #1 campaign. Shout out to all the fans for making this such an incredible campaign. You hear me say it all the time. Alpha Core told us a lot about a company. There was certainly uncertainty because it's a new non-ISM property. Going on to say, this is off the you can't see this, but yeah, going on to say, yet you still brought into Chuck and John's awesome book. This is so motivating for me. I know I can do better job for emphasis the fun of this all, because that's truly what all this is about. 3 campaigns, all over $1 million. Insane. It's to think that we're not even 2 years old, and we still have this mammoth called Yara that's next. Yes, that's the next comic book that he's releasing. In addition to all the fans and customers, I'd like to also thank the creators who out there, from the reviews to the streams to the videos. You guys help generate enthusiasm. You're incredible, valuable. This fandom is growing. Thanks again to all of you. We'll have some announcements soon, as well as our spoiler talk streams this upcoming week. Back to this article. Since he started the Rippaverse, Eric July has faced an unending barrage of doomsaying from people cheering for him to fail. But every time a new Rippaverse comic launches, it reportedly exceeds sales expectations. Alpha Core is an important part of the company's growth because its success proves that Rippaverse can sell books without July's name on them. Sure, Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett aren't exactly lightweights, but this is still Eric July's brand, and having it more beyond him on the sole writer is an important step in maintaining the Rippaverse longevity. The fact that July was able to attract talent on this level is indicative of how important the Rippaverse is into the comic book business. And they're not only pros who are helping to expand the Rippaverse. The next title will be Yara #1, written by Jen and Sylvia Soska, who did Black Widow No Restraints play, and drawn by Deborah Carida, who has worked for Marvel, DC, IDW, and Dark Horse. After that will be the Goodney, the Polymath, written by Mike Barron, who created the character of Microchip with artist Klaus Johnson while working on The Punisher. Friend and foe alike will be watching the campaigns for those and subsequent titles. I don't want to jinx it, but at this point, I wouldn't be bet against the Rippaverse. If you missed out on the campaign, Alpha Core #1 is available to purchase on the Rippaverse website, as well as ISOM #1 and #2. Congratulations to Rippa on this. I hope to see more because this is something that we need. We need alternatives to DC and to Marvel. They are not delivering to the customer like they should be, but Rippa is. Whether you like him or not, that is your purview, but at least give him some support for this, because are you going to do something? Where are you? Where are you with creating something, an alternative to DC and Marvel? But I'm happy for him. I am excited to see what comes out next. I'm excited for Yara. I'm excited for whatever is in the future. So fingers crossed, everyone. Besides that, I just like to say thank you, everyone, for those that came to watch tonight or that spent some moments watching this. Please leave a like, comment about something if there's any topic that you'd like me to talk about in the future. Subscribe if you're not, and have a nice day, a night, a morning, whatever. God bless to you. See you next week, or see you on my next playthrough of Infamous. And go and follow Tabletop on his channel if you're into tabletop role play games, and you'll see me over there. Besides that, God bless and see you around.